we have a game here against Lukacs.
Lukacs, yeah. Lukacs was one of the best Hungarian players in that time, and we had to play qualifying match in four grandmasters for 2 places in Budapest, because I was a little bit ill. I mean, I didn't have my normal result in the zonal tournament in Herculane, and I finished together with Lukacs, Schnapik, and some other grandmaster, and we had to play this match in Budapest to qualify for the interzonal,
To differentiate.
Yeah, and it was very interesting game because he played the Hungarian analysis for black, and I had to counter this analysis and play something new for white, So we'll see the result later on. This is very well-known variation, for both. Okay, d5, white takes with the knight, If he takes with the pawn, after d4, white is better in any position in Tarrasch, the so-called Tarrasch defense. So after knight takes d5, bishop g2, knight c6, castle, bishop e7. Now again, we have a interesting moment. White can take in d5 and d4 later on, but it's not too much. It's a little bit, but not too much for white, d4 is better, So d4, castle, and now simply e4. Now white tries to come quickly on the central squares, by playing somehow d5, later on. And black has to try to have some counterplay, taking the d4, playing b6, and putting the bishop in a6 or in b7. Normal line for both. It's well known in theory. So now knight takes in d4, and now b6. Okay, now everything is very clear. It's move by move. Who comes quickly, here? If white plays immediately bishop e3 or bishop b2, maybe he has a small advantage, but very little, So you have to play very quickly something. So I played d5, I think, no? d5, yes. So he took, I took, and he played knight b4. And coming from here, the game will be very interesting because he played his home analysis, Hungarian analysis for black, and I played my analysis for white. And we'll see the result. Yeah.
Romanian analysis.
So we'll see what happens. Knight e5. But I told you, it's move by move, So bishop a6, rook e1, and he played rook c8. It seems that everything is more or less all right for black, He threatens already, if you don't pay attention, knight c2, and everything is okay, And he wants to play also bishop f6, some other idea, on the big diagonal.
Yes.
So, okay, you have to come quickly with white, So therefore I told you it's move by move. Bishop a3, excellent move. Bishop a3 gives advantage for white in any variation.
Locks of both these two.
Now everything is forced, you see.
Yeah.
So bishop d6 probably is the only good move, but it's enough to have advantage for white, Takes, and now knight c6. Now what to do here? He has to take in c6 and then in e1, recapturing the exchange. But as a result, here we have queen e1. Now we have the result of the opening. The game is clearly better for white because the pawn from c6 is very dangerous, And that, in some positions, black will be in Zugzwang later on, see? Now it's clear which analysis was better. White has a clear edge here, And it's not so complicated anymore because the pawn from c6 is so strong that in any position you have very good tactical chances, If we'll see later on what happens, But everything will be very nice and very beautiful as a result, some tactical...
because the position seems equal.
It seems equal, but it's clearly better for white, you'll see. And very simple also, by this high level, for us it's very simple. Yeah. But you have to play very well, no mistakes. If you don't have any mistakes, you have a very good chance to win.
So the idea is to push this pawn?
To try to push the pawn. If you arrive with the pawn in c7, it's finished, Yeah. So he has to put a piece, to control the square c7. If he allows c7, it's too much. So queen c7 is okay. Now h4. And starting from here, black is in a complete defensive position, and he has to wait. You'll see for a few moves, he moves only the bishop here and there, waiting, because has no counterplay at all, So white has time to prepare, his game. So we'll see.
But what was the idea with h5?
You'll see, the idea is very clear.
To come with the king here?
You want to come with the king in h2, later on have time to trade the bishop in h3, and have control with the rook on d1 of this important square from d7. If you arrive with the rook in d7 and you have queen on board, you can mix this kind of position with mate threats after this normal move h4, h5. You have very good attacking chances, tactical chances against the black king. And the most important is that black is completely without counterplay here. I mean, has no counterplay at all. So has to wait.
He's locked down. Yeah.
So now after rook d1, he waits again. Bishop e6. Now king h2. King bishop c8. Queen b4. White prepares. Everything. You'll see. So bishop e6 again. Rook d6. You put the rook in d6. Bishop there, and now you move the queen to f4. Now in some kind of position here already. You are threatening rook e6 decisive, because after rook e6 he loses a piece or something like this,
Rook e6.
Yeah, he has no time to take in f4 because you give check in e8 and it's finished, So after queen f4, you have already a very nasty threat with white, you see.
Yeah.
So in time trouble is even worse because it's very, very unpleasant for black to play here. Even if the position is not completely winning for white. But it's very unpleasant for your opponent because he has no counterplay at all and has to wait in such a position, So after queen f4, rook e7, probably the only move. So you move again the queen, threatening queen d4, rook d8 check, and bishop e4 check, and that gives almost mate in any position, So now what to do? Rook e has to wait again,
Yeah.
And exactly here, you trade the bishop, So he is forced to trade the bishop. What to do? Takes, and rook c8. It seems that more or less he has some small counterplay, but it's only an illusion. It's not clear, Now, queen d5, of course.
Waiting.
Prepare the decisive phase of the game, Now the threat is already very unpleasant. Rook d7 and mate in f7, So what to do? The only move is king h8. And now you have time
to take the pawn.
You want to take the pawn. He has to take, and now check. He can't take in the 8 because he loses the queen, no? He has to play king h7.
He resigned here.
Yeah, because he loses the rook, king h7, queen f5 check, and finished. You see?
Yes.
If you look at the game, it seems very simple, but in reality, it was move by move.
Yeah.
Move by move.
Was
move by move, but only white could win. It's very pleasant to play such a game. You have all the chances, and your opponent is defenseless. Has to wait the whole game. You see?
So the Romanian analysis was
better. Yes,
was better.
Well, it was not the Romanian analysis, it was my analysis.
Your analysis.
Of course. Yeah.
Nice.
No, but it was very funny. After the game, they were very surprised because it was Hungarian analysis because the whole team from Hungary, the golden team from Hungary, all the strong grandmasters played when they had the possibility. They played with pleasure this variation for black,
and they were winning usually.
This variation for black is already very weak. You can lose any time in very strong tournament, of course. But the surprise was very big. How it could happen like this? Well, it happened. From time to time, it happened. but without computer. Therefore, was very funny, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
So.